The summer heat pressed down on our Chicago suburb as I prepared for what should have been a celebration. My daughter Emma's graduation party was set to begin in an hour, and guests would soon fill our backyard. I adjusted the banner one more time, making sure it hung perfectly between the two oak trees. My wife Rachel appeared on the deck, phone pressed to her ear as usual. Over the past 4 months, that device had become an extension of her hand. She ended the call abruptly when she noticed me watching. "Everything ready?" she asked, her tone clipped. "Almost. Is your boss still planning to stop by?" I asked, knowing the answer would reveal more than she intended. Her face flushed slightly. "David said he might swing by later. He wants to congratulate Emma." David Morrison. The name had been appearing more frequently in our conversations. Rachel's new department head had joined the firm 6 months ago, and since then, my wife had transformed. New clothes, expensive perfume, late nights at the office. The signs were obvious to everyone, except apparently her. Our daughter Emma bounded down the stairs, her cap and gown draped over her arm. At 18, she had her mother's eyes, but my stubborn chin. "Dad, can you help me with this tassel thing?" I smiled and adjusted it for her. "Perfect. Your grandparents will be here soon." The doorbell chimed. I opened it to find my parents, my sister Sarah with her family, and a handful of early guests. The backyard quickly filled with laughter, music, and the smell of burgers on the grill. Emma glowed with happiness, surrounded by friends and family. Then he arrived. David Morrison stepped through our gate like he owned the property. Mid-40s, silver-streaked hair, wearing a suit that cost more than my monthly salary. He carried an enormous gift bag and a confidence that made my jaw tighten. "Rachel," he called out, completely bypassing me. "Congratulations on raising such an accomplished young woman." My wife practically floated to his side. The way she touched his arm, laughed at his comments, leaned in when he spoke. It was like watching a stranger wear my wife's face. Emma approached me, her smile fading. "Dad, who is that guy with Mom?" Uh, her boss, I said quietly. "David Morrison. He's looking at her weird, and she's acting weird. Kids notice everything. I know, sweetheart. Go enjoy your party." My father appeared beside me, his expression dark. "Son, what's going on with Rachel?" "I'm handling it, Dad. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, that man is making himself very comfortable in your home." David had taken a seat at our patio table, and Rachel sat across from him, completely absorbed in conversation. Meanwhile, guests wandered awkwardly, unsure how to navigate the obvious tension. My sister Sarah grabbed my arm. "Mark, you need to do something. This is embarrassing." I approached their table. "David, glad you could make it. Can I get you a drink?" He barely glanced at me. "I'm fine. Rachel and I were just discussing the Tokyo expansion. She's absolutely brilliant with international contracts." "Tokyo?" This was news to me. Rachel's eyes widened slightly. "It's not confirmed yet. David's team is considering me for a position there. 6 months, maybe a year." My blood turned cold. This is the first I'm hearing about it." "I was going to tell you tonight," she said, but her voice lacked conviction. David leaned back in his chair. "Rachel would be perfect for it. She's wasted in her current role. With her talent, she should be running the entire department." "How generous of you to notice," I said, my voice tight. He finally looked directly at me. "You're Mark, right? Rachel's mentioned you. High school sweethearts, correct?" The condescension in his tone was unmistakable. My sister's husband Tom moved closer, sensing trouble. 20 years married," I replied. "We built this life together." "How quaint," David smirked. "But surely you want what's best for Rachel's career? Or are you one of those husbands who needs his wife nearby?" Rachel stood quickly. "David, that's not—" "No, let him speak," I interrupted. "I'm curious what else my wife's boss thinks about our marriage." The party had gone quiet. Emma stood near the house, tears forming in her eyes. My parents had moved the younger kids inside, but everyone else watched the scene unfold. David rose to his feet. "Look, I'm just trying to help Rachel reach her potential, something she's clearly been denied here." "Denied?" My hands clenched into fists. "I've supported every career move she's made, every late night, every weekend conference, every team building trip. Is that what she told you?" David laughed. "Those team building trips? We were in Paris, Mark, in Rome, building more than just professional relationships." The world seemed to tilt. Rachel's face had gone pale. "You're lying," I said, but my voice wavered. "Am I? Ask her about the hotel in Venice, the one with the view of the Grand Canal, or the villa in Tuscany. Rachel grabbed his arm. David, stop. This isn't how. How what? How you plan to tell him. You've been stalling for weeks, Rachel. The Tokyo position starts in 2 months. We leave together. Emma's voice cut through the chaos. Mom, is this true? My daughter's face was streaked with tears. Rachel moved toward her, but Emma stepped back. Baby, it's complicated, Rachel began. Don't call me that, Emma's voice shook. Were you cheating on Dad? The silence that followed was deafening. Sarah put her arm around Emma, shooting Rachel a look of pure disgust. My father stepped between David and me, probably sensing how close I was to doing something I'd regret. I think you should leave, my father said to David. I'm not going anywhere without Rachel, David replied. Rachel stood frozen, torn between two worlds. I could see the calculation in her eyes, weighing her options. Choose, I said simply. Right now. This family or him. That's not fair, Mark. You're making this into... Fair? My voice rose. You brought your lover to our daughter's graduation party. You were planning to move to Tokyo without telling me. Where's the fairness in that? David moved toward Rachel. Come on. You don't need this drama. We'll go to my place, figure this out like adults. She's not going anywhere with you, I said. That's not your decision, David sneered. He reached for Rachel's hand. Something in me snapped. 20 years of marriage, of trust, of building a life together, and this man thought he could just take it all. I stepped forward, putting myself between them. Get out of my house. David pushed me. Hard. I stumbled back, catching myself on the patio table. Tom and my father both moved, but I was faster. Years of weekend basketball and yard work had kept me in decent shape, and David's gym-sculpted muscles were no match for genuine anger. My fist connected with his jaw. He went down, crashing into the gift table and sending Emma's presents flying. Dad, no, Emma screamed. But David was already getting up, rage distorting his features. He charged at me like a bull. We crashed into the grill, sending it toppling. Hot coals scattered across the patio. Tom and my father pulled us apart. David's lip was bleeding and my knuckles were raw. Rachel stood motionless, tears streaming down her face. I'm calling the police, my mother announced from the doorway. No need, David said, wiping blood from his mouth. I'm leaving, but Rachel, you need to decide. It's me or this pathetic suburban life. All eyes turned to my wife. Emma, my parents, our friends and family. Everyone waited. Rachel looked at me, really looked at me, perhaps for the first time in months. I saw confusion, guilt, and something else I couldn't quite name. I need time, she whispered. That's not an answer, David demanded. It's the only one I have right now. David's expression hardened. Fine, you have until Monday to decide. The Tokyo position waits for no one. He straightened his jacket and walked out, leaving destruction in his wake. The party was clearly over. Guests made awkward excuses and left quickly. Soon, only family remained. Emma wouldn't look at her mother. She went inside with Sarah, who shot me a supportive nod before following. My parents stayed to help clean up the disaster the backyard had become. Rachel sat alone on the deck stairs, staring at nothing. Later, after everyone had left, I found her in our bedroom, packing a suitcase. What are you doing? I asked. I'm going to stay at a hotel, just for a few days. I need to think. About what? Whether you want your family or your affair partner? She flinched at the word. It's not that simple, Mark. It actually is. You made choices. You lied. You betrayed us. I know, her voice broke. I know what I did, but I also know that I've felt invisible in this life for years. Invisible? Rachel, I've been here every day. Every single day. Physically, yes. But when was the last time you really saw me? Really asked about my dreams, my ambitions? You never said you were unhappy. I shouldn't have to. You should have noticed. We stood in painful silence, years of unspoken resentments filling the space between us. Did you love him? I finally asked. She paused. I don't know. Maybe I loved the way he made me feel, important, valued, like I was more than just a wife and mother. You are more than that. You always have been. But being a wife and mother, those aren't prison sentences, Rachel. They're parts of who you are. Parts I thought you valued. I did. I do. She sat on the bed, shoulders shaking. I'm so confused, Mark. David offers this exciting life, travel, status, but you're home. You're safe. You're 20 years of history. I'm not safe, Rachel. I'm your husband, or I was. She left that night. Emma locked herself in her room and wouldn't come out. I sat in the dark living room, replaying every moment of the past 6 months, seeing all the signs I'd ignored or explained away. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. Apparently, David had been married too. His wife had found out about Rachel and several other affairs. The Tokyo position was real, but David had already been removed from consideration due to HR violations. Rachel called me that afternoon. Did you hear? About David being fired? Yes. It's all falling apart, Mark. Everything he promised was a lie. And what did you expect? He was lying to both his wife and to you. Did you think you'd be different? She sobbed. I made a terrible mistake. I threw away everything for a fantasy. Yes, you did. Is there any chance we can fix this? I looked at Emma's closed bedroom door. My daughter hadn't eaten since the party. She was devastated. Her trust in her mother shattered. I don't know, Rachel. I honestly don't know. The following weeks were torture. Rachel moved into an apartment. Emma refused to see her. Divorce papers arrived. Rachel had filed before David's world collapsed. My daughter struggled. Her grades, usually perfect, began slipping. She stopped seeing friends. The graduation she'd been so excited about was now tainted with horrible memories. One evening, 3 weeks after the party, Emma finally spoke to me about it. Did you ever suspect? She asked. I considered lying, but chose honesty. Yes. But I wanted to believe I was wrong. Do you still love her? Part of me always will. She's your mother. We built a life together, but love isn't enough when trust is gone. Will you forgive her? I pulled my daughter close. Someday, maybe, for your sake. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean going back. Rachel tried repeatedly to see Emma. Each attempt ended with our daughter in tears. Finally, I agreed to a supervised meeting at a family therapist's office. Rachel looked terrible. Weight loss, dark circles, unkempt hair. The polished woman who'd been planning to run off to Tokyo was gone. Emma, I'm so sorry, Rachel began. What I did was unforgivable. Emma stared at her hands. Why did you do it? I was selfish. I got caught up in feeling special, feeling seen, but I lost sight of what actually mattered. We mattered. Dad and me. We should have mattered. You did. You do. I forgot that for a while. A while? You forgot about us for months, Mom. You were planning to move to another country and leave us behind. Rachel's tears flowed freely. I know. I hate myself for it. David made it all sound so appealing, so easy. He said you were old enough that you'd understand. Understand my mom cheating? Understand you abandoning Dad? The session was brutal but necessary. By the end, Emma had agreed to see her mother once a week, supervised. Small steps. Months passed. The divorce moved forward despite Rachel's attempts to stop it. She'd lost her job when the extent of David's misconduct came to light. Last I heard, he was working at a small firm in another state, his reputation destroyed. Emma slowly healed. She started college in the fall, choosing a school close to home. Rachel got a new job, a modest position with no travel and no David Morrison types. One Saturday, almost a year after that fateful graduation party, Rachel showed up at the house. I know I have no right to ask, she said. But can we talk? Emma was at college orientation. I let Rachel in, feeling strange having her in what used to be our home. I'm in therapy, she said. Real therapy, 3 times a week. I'm trying to understand why I destroyed everything. Have you figured it out? I was afraid of getting old, of being ordinary. When David showed interest, it made me feel young and special. But what I didn't realize was that being loved by someone who truly knows you, that's actually special. Being ordinary with someone extraordinary, that's the real gift. That's a nice sentiment, Rachel, but it doesn't change what happened. I know, I'm not asking for another chance. I just wanted you to know that I understand now what I lost, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to Emma. She's doing better, but she still struggles with trust. I know I destroyed that. Rachel stood to leave. Mark, for what it's worth, you deserved better. You deserved a wife who saw your worth. I'm sorry I forgot that. After she left, I found myself thinking about forgiveness, not forgetting, never forgetting, but maybe eventually letting go of the anger. Emma came home that evening, excited about her orientation. She'd made friends, loved her dorm, couldn't wait to start classes. Dad, I saw Mom's car leaving earlier. She stopped by. We talked. Are you okay? I smiled at my daughter's concern. Yeah, sweetheart. I'm okay. Good. Because I need you to be okay. You're all I've got that's solid. That night, as I sat on the back patio, now repaired and peaceful, I realized Emma was wrong. She wasn't just relying on me, she had become strong in her own right. The pain had forged her into someone resilient and wise beyond her years. The scars from that graduation party remained, but they no longer defined us. We were moving forward, building a new normal, different from what I'd planned, but maybe exactly what we needed. Sometimes the life we build gets torn down, and sometimes in the rebuilding, we discover strength we never knew we had. That's not the ending I wanted, but it's the one I got. And slowly, day by day, I'm learning that it's enough.